The 10 cars that get 2 laps each for the Super Pole shootout, and that will round out day 2 here of this 72nd Macau Grand Prix weekend. The FIA GT World Cup, one of the rare opportunities for GT drivers to drive the car solo. They don't have to think about a teammate. They don't really have to think about looking after equipment as well, because this is very much a sprint race format.
Goes against the grain of being a racing driver, doesn't it? They are brought up to believe that they are the most important thing. They are, admittedly, they say it, they are the most selfish people. And then when they have to share a car, when they take a move into a... I've spoken to a few drivers over the course of the years, and I've said, so how's the move into GTs? I don't like it, I have to share my car.
Exactly, yeah. Some get their hat on with it effectively and invest in their AM, like a Johnny Adam type character, for example.
Yes, yeah.
But others, as you say, are rather selfish on that score. Right, we are awaiting Q2 to get underway, and while we do, Raffaele Marciello, third fastest in Q1, and he improved on his last lap. Would be perhaps the perfect person to show us around the circuit, bearing in mind he's been a winner of this event in the past. On board with Raffaele Marciello, you're aboard the Rover Racing BMW. So Raffaele Marciello then for Rover Racing. Winner here of the Macau GT Cup in the past. He won in 2023, he won in 2019. Former champion in single-seaters. He was the FIA Formula 3 European champion back in 2013. Cinema roll, though, Alan, is done for the day.
Yep, parc fermé conditions for that car. Adley Fong finishes up 14th quickest out of the car, talking to the team as well. And we talk about the fact that Adley every year gets a very attention-grabbing headline livery on the car. I would imagine a lot of work goes on behind the scenes to secure that kind of interest for this weekend, and he does a really good job. The Rofco liveried car, Benjamin Goethe not through to the final 10, but it's really spectacular to have that Golf livery here at Macau this year, and Benjamin Goethe finishes up in 13th position. That's the car that was second in this Q1, the Ferrari, which they do say about Ferraris, and they've said it for many, many years. Whatever angle you look at a Ferrari, it's beautiful. Yeah. And that car in particular, that shape of car, that livery on the car, whichever camera angle we have of the Ferrari around the gear circuit, it does look incredible, doesn't it? It's looking really absolutely nailed to the tarmac. Looks superb.
That's the Lamborghini Huracan of Eduardo Mortara, with drivers staying in the car, but the door being flat, so there's a little bit of airflow in. And Eduardo Mortara, perhaps one of the surprises actually. It didn't look as though he was going to make it, but sneaked in right at the very end. That's Andy Deng's Ferrari. And there's just been a change on that timing screen. Mortara has just been put to 8th ahead of Haase. Ah, no, tell you what's happened. Boccalacci has been taken out and put to 14th. Dorian Boccalacci was, I thought, 8th, and he has been taken out of the times. That's right, so Mortara's up to 8th, and Boccalacci has obviously had a lap time taken off him. So Dorian Boccalacci misses out. That's Luca Angela, who is now being told, you're in. Go and get a helmet.
Put your overalls back on and get back into the car. That's not the best of preparations, is it? To get yourself ready for a 2-lap shootout for pole position, which is the way we're going to finish our track action here today at Macau. Gets underway early tomorrow morning, earlier than had been planned, because the warm-up session for motorcycles not happening at 7:10. Instead, at 7 o'clock we have 1 hour of qualifying for the Motorcycle Grand Prix, and then we'll have the Motorcycle Grand Prix tomorrow morning. So 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock qualifying, and then 9:10 until 10 o'clock is the allotted time for 12 laps for the motorcycles, because it was wet this morning. Doesn't feel like it when you think back to it now, because we've had lovely sunshine all day today.
That is Alessio Picariello having a chat to his engineer, and the countdown continues to get the start of Q2 underway here at Macau. In the meantime, this is on board with Ye-Yifei, 6th fastest in the Ferrari. Well, we've seen Marciello's lap. Let's ride with the Ferrari, and also on the way to Lisboa, let's just have a listen to the engine. Across the top of the mountain section, if you like, goes Ye-Yifei, avoids the stone wall, down to Maternity, sharp right. Powers downhill. Careful as he goes then through towards the Teddy Yip corner there, and then the Solitude S's. And the Ferrari down towards Police makes the climb up the other side. Traffic ahead, you can see that he's looming down on, but out of Moorish goes the Ferrari and up towards Donna Maria now. Out of the Melco hairpin, down to Laxans. Ye-Yifei set for 6th in the times in the Harmony Racing Ferrari, the driver that won Le Mans this year. He's won French F4, he's won Euro Formula Open, he's won his class in the Asian Le Mans Series and the European Le Mans Series. Oh, so close to winning the LMP2 class at Le Mans. If you think back a few years, the car that was being run by WRT hit trouble on the last lap of the race, and he lost his win, leading the class. But Ye-Yifei comes here as not only a factory Ferrari driver, but a Le Mans outright winner as well. So we are waiting for the cars to be allowed down the pit lane, ready for this second part of qualifying. That is one, however, that will not be moving. Lawrence Vantor's
just a whisker Porsche outside, wasn't it?
And there is the fabulous-looking Iron Shinguven Porsche. Which is probably the fastest mirror that we have. Dorian Boccalacci, who was in, is now not. So that's a Porsche that is done. The FIA technical team consulting in the pit lane, as you can see. And I think part of the delay is one or two of these cars being looked at for too much power, overpowering. And so once we have an order, they can
three cars were being investigated, yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah, we have people losing their lap times during the session, and then Boccalacci, Haase and Mortara being looked at as well. I think we got an answer to Boccalacci because he was shuffled down the order.
Yes.
But whether those investigations are now done remains to be seen. So another 6 minutes until things are underway, we understand. And that is a car that would not surprise anybody were it to be found on pole position come the end of the session. Raffaele Marciello and the Rover Racing BMW. It's a very unusual Rover livery. Normally you expect them to be the white and yellow and grey colour scheme that Rover has had, but that car is in its Macau colour scheme. Right, we've had a look at a Ferrari lap, we've had a look at a BMW lap. Alan has been waxing lyrical about Mr. Macau, Eduardo Mortara, and we might be able to have a lap with the Lamborghini, because that's another car that's going to feature strongly in the course of qualifying. We'll come to him in a few moments. And in the meantime, people are getting ready for Q2. This is an Edo Mortara lap of Macau. total commitment put in on this section of the circuit. And then hard on the brakes, you can see the gear display down to second for Lisboa. Little lift before he attacks San Francisco, and then the climb up the hill. And it's quite a long climb, that. And when you get to the top, you think, oh, I'm there, but not quite, because it's still climbing now, even though you've gone over a brow. Only about here does it start to level out and even think about dropping down. So from Eternity, down the hill goes Eduardo Mortara. Up against the wall on one side, the Armco on the other. Just lets the throttle trail a little bit as the car slaloms its way left and right, all the way now down towards Teddy Yip. Corner named after the Hong Kong businessman racer, who of course took his own cars into Formula One. This is Police up towards Moorish. A very early break, down to second gear, down to first indeed in the Huracan. Speed builds as he goes up towards Donna Maria. Again, virtually a blind corner, turn in, you don't really know what's all the way around that long left. Out the other side, down towards the Melco hairpin, stand on the brakes, go down to first gear, and the huge amount of lock that has to be put on. Up the other side of the hairpin is Black Sands, and as he goes down the hill, on the left-hand side, he'll even go past the Lamborghini dealership. To third gear for Fisherman's. Back on the power for R Bend, and then up towards the completion of the lap. Fifth becomes fourth, becomes third as he drops down the gears, powers out the other side, bit of correction needed. Mortara, another lap of Macau in the bank. So Mortara, a slow in-lap to the pit lane. The first of his wins here came in 08 when he won the qualifying race for the Grand Prix. That didn't really satisfy, so he came back the year after and won the Grand Prix. And then a year after that, he came and won them both, did the qualifying race and the Grand Prix. 2011, he had his first GT win, and he did the same again in 2012 and 2013, the year he won the Audi R8 race. And in 2017, won in the GT qualifying and main race as well. But it's been a long time since that last win of Edo Mortara's.
Doing other things, hasn't he? He was competing for a while in DTM,
that's right,
and then on to Formula E as well, which I would imagine is a very different form of motorsport to racing a Lamborghini around the streets of Macau. But this is a lot quieter. A lot quieter. This is like always coming home, really, isn't it?
Well, there's Joel Eriksson out of the car, and that's because he's going to go last, so he's got time to get a bit of air, stretch his legs. Joel's also been away doing some Formula E racing, but he's done all sorts of things since he was runner-up in the Macau Grand Prix, such as racing in the DTM for BMW, and has raced in British GT a few years back with Century. He's driving for the Envision team in Formula E next season. So Joel Eriksson in demand.
He was a BMW junior driver as well early
yeah,
on in his career, and made the step up. Certainly stepped up in that qualifying session, didn't he? That was very impressive. Hadn't given us a glimpse into the fact that that might happen during Q1 until that point. But really impressive, that. And the crowd stay right the way until the end of action, don't they?
Absolutely. Well, these are the cars to make sure you do, aren't they?
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah. Looking down on the permanent garages, which are used by the cars for the Grand Prix, but the GT teams camp out while their session is live. The GT cars have garages in the temporary structure, which also has all the organisational offices for the FIA and the championship coordinators and the media centre in there. So such is the growth of the event that the building that was built, what, 12 years or so ago now, just can't house everything. So a temporary building has to be erected, and underneath it are the garages for the GT teams. Now the first to go when we have this session is now going to be Luca Engschler. So he is the one who comes in at the expense of Dorian Boccolacci. After that, it will be Christopher Hauser, and then Eduardo Mortara. Laurin Heinrich will be fourth away from Ye Fei, Anchin Guven, Alessio Picariello, then Raffaele Marciello, then Antonio Fuoco, and Joel Eriksson will be the last to go, which gives you the slight advantage in a sense of knowing what you're aiming for, but fundamentally what everybody is aiming for is an absolutely flat out and error-free lap. Right, where in all of this is Luca Engschler, because he ought to be pretty much ready to go now. We were told that the session was going to start at 17:11, and we've just gone past that.
In fairness, he's had the least time to prepare, hasn't he? Because he only just found out he'd be getting in. So I understand it's going to be another just under 3 minutes until we get this session underway. Q2 for the Macau GT Cup, FIA GT World Cup. It's been a busy day here of qualifying at Macau. Tomorrow is going to be racing all the way. We're going to be qualifying for motorcycles first thing, racing, and then racing all the way in qualification races, and a race for the Macau Road Sport Challenge. Their one and only race over the course of this weekend. They qualified yesterday. They race tomorrow morning. It's one of the local races. Big entry for that race tomorrow, and then qualification races for FIA F4, for FIA TCR World Touring Cars, for the FIA GT World Cup, the cars we're about to see qualifying there. Qualification race over 12 laps, and then the 10-lap qualifying race for the FIA FR World Cup. All of that to look forward to as we prepare ourselves for this Q2 for the FIA GT World Cup, the Macau GT World Cup about to get underway. Just having a look in at Lawrence Van Thurt, I beg your pardon, Eduardo Mortara inside the Lamborghini ahead of this qualifying session, making sure all the correct buttons are pressed ahead of this. And then the Platinum Porsche, car number 11, the DTM champion, Antonin Gervin, getting ready for this qualifying session. Hear the music pumping down in pit lane as well. Everybody getting ready for something we've never had as far as qualifying is concerned for GT World Cup here. This unique Q1 and Q2 format of qualifying. Laurin Heinrich is going to be going out in fourth position after that qualifying and the various technical investigations after qualifying. Just think those two cars look absolutely exceptional. Sometimes you see a wrap that goes on where you might see a little bit of a crinkle here and there or a bit of an air bubble. Those two are exceptional. And as you said earlier on, you know, the probably most impressive mirror you're ever going to see.
Certainly the fastest. And Anchin Guven has been, in a sense, a bit of a model of how you learn Macau, because in the first session, as the green flag is now shown and we're in business, in the first session yesterday, he didn't look that flash, but he was quietly getting on with life, learning the circuit, learning where to be brave, got better in FP2, he's got better again in qualifying, and Anchin Guven then ending the first part of qualifying fifth fastest. Right, so the pit lane is open. Luca Engschler is now allowed out.
I can't hear him.
No, but the circuit is there for him. So Luca Engschler has 2 minutes grace, if you like, to get out. The session is live, and the cars are given a time at which they must leave the pit lane as the latest. So he's got a bit of grace if he wants. So Engschler, Hauser, Mortara, Heinrich, Ye, Guven, Picariello, Marciello, Fuoco and Eriksson is the order. So Luca Engschler will now get the car fired up. As I say, there's a bit of grace once the green flag is shown to let the teams fire the car up, get it through a bit of warmth, and then releasing down the pit lane. So the Absolute Racing team operating Luca Engschler's car. Remember, he had that huge accident here last year, but after a month or so of pretty hard recuperation in a wheelchair. He was back to full fitness, and he's had a really, really good season as Luca Engstler. Winning the Crown Strike 24 Hours of Spa is very much the highlight of his return. He's a multiple TCR champion. He's won the Asian, the Middle East, the Malaysian and the German championships, and a winner in the Sprint Cup as well at Manicourt this year. Right, it's been a long break, it felt like, but we're underway again. Luca Engstler down the pit lane, so they will do an out lap, 2 flyers and an in, and obviously it is the better of your 2 flying laps that you count, so we'll be keeping an eye on the clock but also an eye on both lap times. It mirrors what happens at Spa for the Super Pole shootout there, and more often than not it's the first lap that's the quicker of the 2. I'm not saying Spa in any way is going to reflect Macau or vice versa, but I offer you that as a snippet.
What a treat on one of these iconic circuits. You mentioned Spa, but of course here at the Gears circuit at Macau, to be out there in splendid isolation, no one else around you, it's just a driver's dream, isn't it, this?
Yeah, everyone moans about traffic. Well, you've got no excuse now because there'll only be maybe 4 cars max on the circuit at any one time, and Engstler right now is the only driver out there. Christopher Halser will be the next one to go in another Volkswagen Audi Group product. Where would GT racing be without VAG? If you think about Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley over the years as well. So downhill goes the Lamborghini. Luca Engstler, the 25-year-old German driver in the Absolute Corsa entry, began in karting. His father, Franz Engstler, a very good touring car racer himself, and always feels with the Licky Moly sponsorship that the Engstler family has had in its racing career, whether it's dad or lad. So through police goes the Lambo, and surprising in a sense, given what we've been saying about them, that both got into the top 10.
Also, for many of us, myself included, I love the different engine tones, and in glorious isolation, you can properly hear that Lamborghini engine, can't you? Just glorious.
Yeah, it's one of the great things about GT racing, because not only are the cars all different shapes and different sizes, but there's always this little symphony going on as well from the engines. Mortara coming later, Engstler coming up towards the end of an out lap, and having tried to get everything up to temperature, it's about now coming out of Fisherman's where he will pull the pin, and the first of his 2 flying laps is about to start. He's still weaving, still warming up the Pirelli rubber. Right, the first car onto a flying lap is Luca Engstler's Lamborghini then, as he goes across the timing line down now towards Reservoir through that very, very fast left-hander. 5 sectors to the lap. Christopher Halser has made his way out on track as well, and he is coming up towards the end of his out lap as Engstler heads down now through Mandarin. It was this section of the circuit where he had his big moment last year, but he's okay now as he heads towards Lisboa, and when he gets there he will break the beam at the end of Sector 1, Alan.
He's got 2 laps of this as well, so this the first of the laps, and you see he was absolutely using the most of the out lap from pit lane to continue to weave the car just up towards the start of this first flying lap. So let's see, this is the first toe in the water for this format of qualifying here at Macau. Is it going to be the first or the second lap, which is the quicker one? Well, this is the first for Luca Engstler, and Eduardo Mortara is out on his out lap now from pit lane. Christopher Halser is also about to start his first flying lap as well.
He's just done so. Halser's just gone over the timing line, so his first lap is live. Engstler then at the moment takes up attention. Christopher Halser going down towards Mandarin at the moment, so Engstler lighting up the timing screen. Everything is purple, but it would be effectively because this is the first flying lap of the session. Nothing to compare it against. Little bit edgy maybe coming out of police up towards Moorish, and as the light starts to fade, the artificial light provided by the cars become ever brighter.
There you go, that's what you wanted, wasn't it? Into the early evening darkness here at Macau, and the lights are coming on around Macau as well. The whole place just changes overnight. David was saying earlier on, it's 2 unique features: Grand Prix racing during the day, and then when we get to the night time, all the fun of the the lights of the hotels and the casinos and everything that makes the skyline of nighttime at Macau is completely unique. Right, Luca Engstler coming up towards the end of his first flying lap.
Right, so the best time anybody did in Q1 was a 2:15.9. That is the benchmark. And Luca Engstler has just gone across the line, and he has done a 2:16.718. So 2:16.718 is the first time. And we'll see how that stacks up for everybody else. Christopher Hauser has not been as quick as Engstler in the sectors. So it looks as though here the Audi is going to fall short. And then the next one after that to keep an eye on is going to be Mortara. But then you also need to bounce from cars on their first lap to their second. And Engstler on his second lap goes quicker again in sector 1. So there's a lot to keep tabs on here. First up is Hauser's first lap time, but Engstler's second looks like it may turn out to be better than his opener.
You saw just what a handful these cars are to get out of the Macau hairpin. If you just put it a centimetre wrong, makes it very tricky on the exit, and therefore your exit from the corner and therefore your final sector of the lap is compromised just a little bit. And that did look like a little bit of a handful, didn't it, for Christopher Hauser, that time coming out of the Macau hairpin. Well, what's the sum total going to be? First flying lap is going to be a 2:18.3 for Christopher Hauser, and that compares to Luca Engstler with a 2:16.718. So significantly a better lap for Luca Engstler, and he still goes purple, purple, purple. So overall best for Luca Engstler on his second flying lap.
But this is Eduardo Mortara, who is on his first flyer and has just done an absolute best in sector 4. So this is Mortara now coming down through Black Sands in towards Fisherman. So the target for him now is a 2:16.718. That was the Engstler time. We've also just had Laurin Heinrich and instantly Yeifei going through onto their first lap. Ayenchen Guven is on circuit. Alessio Picariello is on track as well. So first up, let's go to Mortara across the line and see what his first effort is going to be. Puts him second behind Engstler, 2:17.983.
So Mortara goes second. Engstler is top of the times and about to complete the second of the flying laps for Luca Engstler. Car number 19, the first car out on circuit. Only just found out a few minutes before we got this qualifying session underway, and a 2:16.543 for Luca Engstler. Eduardo Mortara on the start of his second flying lap has gone purple in sector 1. Eduardo Mortara is flying on the second lap of the first part of the second lap for Eduardo Mortara.
Right, so Engstler goes better on his second lap than his first. Mortara's on a first lap. Christopher Hauser is on a second. Laurin Heinrich here is on his first. You saw a moment ago Raffaele Marciello slowly out of the pit lane, doing it his way and keeping out of the way of the quicker cars. Admittedly, Laurin Heinrich is looking pretty good, but it's Mortara, I think, who might put himself top on his second lap because he's doing purples. Mortara has got to aim for a 2:16.543. This is Laurin Heinrich coming up towards the line, and Heinrich goes only fourth. That was a really subdued lap, 2:23.872. So that was a gentle lap. So he's clearly going for one shot, not too good, if you see what I mean. This is Hauser for his second lap, goes across the line, up to second. So that was better, 2:16.968.
Meanwhile, Mortara has gone purple, purple, purple in his second flying lap. So this could potentially be a nice lap for Eduardo Mortara.
So first up, Yeifei coming down towards Fisherman's, and this will be his first flying lap. So at the moment you've got Engstler from Hauser. We'll get Yeifei over the line, then we'll worry about Mortara as Ye comes up towards our bend. As I say, you've got people on their first lap, people on their second. So far, people on lap 2 have gone quicker. Yeifei goes up to second on a 2:16.642.
And look for Mortara, he's just got the final sector to complete now. So Eduardo Mortara, car number 63, the Lamborghini goes top. So overall best in every bar, the final sector, and a 2:15.924 for the 10-time winner here at Macau, Eduardo Mortara.
And that means that lap is better than anything anybody did in Q1. He's quicker than Ericsson by 0.003 of a second.
Oh, wow.
So it's tight, this. You forget forget your Q1 time if you've made it into Q2, but by way of a guide, 3,000's quicker than the best Q1 time. Right, Yeyefei's on a second lap, so that means that Enschler has done, Hauser has done, Mortara has done. This is Ayhancan Guven coming up to the end of his first lap, so now you need to be in the 15s and no messing.
And Lauren Heinrich has gone overall best in Sector 3 as well, just to point that one out.
Raffaele Marciello is onto a flying lap now. Ayhancan Guven is across the timing line, and the Porsche goes by 5th fastest. That was a slowish 2:19.812. There's more to come from him as well. It looks like the Porsche plan is to do a build lap and a flyer, whereas the others seem to have been on it for 2.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, doesn't it? And Joel Eriksson has only just gone on to start the pit out lap.
Heinrich goes second then, 2:16.317. So everybody so far quicker on lap 2 than lap 1. So it's Mortara, Heinrich, then Enschler, he's got another lap to do. Hauser, Guven with another lap in the book. Picariello 2 to go, Marciello 2 to go. We've not yet had anything out of Fuoco and Eriksson. This is Yeyefei's second lap. We've just had Antonio Fuoco start a flyer. Alessio Picariello in the meantime is about to do his first flying lap in the 911, and as he goes across the line, Picariello third, 2:16.493.
So goes third, Mortara, Heinrich and Picariello, the top 3. And that's the first of the flying laps for 911. Alessio Picariello goes into third.
This is Yeyefei, 5th now in the Ferrari, breaks the beam and goes quickest. Yeyefei's Ferrari at 2:15.809. So the Le Mans winner is fastest at Macau for now, 2:15.809. And the pattern continues of being quicker on your second lap than your first. This is Raffaele Marciello's first effort, and he's up towards the Donna Maria hairpin.
So this long left-hander at Donna Maria and up towards the Melco hairpin.
It's his first flying lap, first time we'll have seen. Guven's on his second and has done an absolute best third sector, but this is Marciello, who just had Joel Eriksson start a flying lap. But Marciello is always one to watch, Alan.
He certainly is. He's not gone purple in any of these sectors thus far. He's now completed sector number 4, and we wait for what Raffaele Marciello does at the end of this lap. Guven has gone overall best in Sector 3, and that's the 53 car of Raffaele Marciello we're looking at.
And that's Guven, who's almost caught him. This is Guven's second lap, remember. Marciello will go through for a gentle 2:22. Guven goes third on a 2:16.2. So 2:16, 2:62. Ayhancan Guven is third. It is Mortara, Guven, Heinrich, Alessio Picariello's on his second lap, and that from Raffaele Marciello, as I say, was a fairly gentle start, 2:22.080.
Looking towards lap 2, I reckon, for Raffaele Marciello, and there's the proof. Goes purple in Sector 1, and Alessio Picariello has just gone purple in Sectors 3 and 4 as well. One more sector to go on lap number 2 for Picariello.
It's impressive, isn't it, that Mortara is still up there second. This is Antonio Fuoco's first effort, about to be boxed off then as the Ferrari comes through, and Antonio Fuoco goes across the line. Only 7th fastest. That was a 2:16.788.
Surprising that, isn't it? Picariello goes third, so 2 overall best sectors, 3 and 4. Raffaele Marciello, he was overall best in Sector 1. He's in a BMW, he's at Macau. They do purples in Sector 1, and he does it yet again, and hasn't done so in Sector 2. So we'll wait and see what Raffaele Marciello is able to give us in Sectors 4 and 5. First 3 sectors are complete.
He's about 4/10 down as Marciello in Sector 3. He's about a 10th down in Sector 2. So a lot of the heavy lifting is done by Sector 1. This is Joel Eriksson, the last driver to do his first flying lap. Remember, he did a 2:15.927 in the first part of qualifying to get him into this. The fastest so far is Yeyefei on that 2:15.809, and Eriksson up towards the timing line, breaks the beam, and he has a pretty subdued first lap at 2:21.285.
2:21.285 for Joel Eriksson. He topped the times in Q1. At the moment, he's 9th, but he's got one more flying lap to go.
whereas Marciello does not. This is his last. Fuoco is on his second effort as well. So where does Raffaele Marciello slot in as he comes over the timing line? The answer is fourth fastest. That is a 2:16.106, so fourth for Marciello.
Raffaele Marciello then goes fourth. Fei, top of the times. Eduardo Mortara, that is so impressive. Eduardo Mortara, second in the order. We never got a glimpse of that kind of speed, did we?
No, I mean, we were thinking for pretty much most of that session that he wasn't going to make it in. And not only has he made it in, he could well be on the front row. And if you're on the front row here, you can be a winner. This is Fuoco, who might have something to say about it. Fuoco had a fairly modest first lap at 2:16.788, but now he finds himself 8th and in desperate need to improve. So Antonio Fuoco comes through our bend. Remember, he led the race last year, the main race. He goes across the timing line and goes quickest of all. 2:15.535. Fuoco flies to the top of the times for now.
Super lap, that 2:15.535 for Antonio Fuoco. Yep, he did. He led this race last year, albeit briefly, but the number 50 Ferrari goes top of the times, 2:15.535. Looking at Joel Eriksson, car number 46, the Audi. 2 more sectors to go for Joel Eriksson.
I think Fuoco's done this because Joel Eriksson is slightly away from the best time in each sector, and he's not doing any absolute best. So I reckon Fuoco might have done this, but the fascination is going to be where Eriksson will slot in, having been the fastest man in Q1. He has raced a GT car here, in fairness, in the past. He was 7th in the GT Cup back in 2019, and he's right up against the wall coming off Fisherman's. There is nothing being left on the table here, is there, for number 46 then, Joel Eriksson, who comes through our bend. He's the last car, the last driver to take the checkered flag, and where will he slot in as he breaks the beam? Joel Eriksson is 5th fastest, the time 2:16.097. 5th it is, but Antonio Fuoco and Fei make it an all-Ferrari front row at Macau.
First time we've had that format of qualifying here, and it was a thriller, wasn't it? My goodness.
I'm sure that in his office on the other side of the circuit, Stefan Rattel has been watching all of that and will now be nodding with a big smile on his face, thinking, yeah, that's worked. The ultimate GT enthusiast is Stefan. Try to keep him away from a GT race of any weekend and you're a better man, because he's always somewhere. He's got so many championships to look after, but he bounces from continent to continent to keep an eye on GT racing, and he loves coming here. And why not? When you get a qualifying session like that, it's been a long wait, hasn't it? It's been a long day, but it was worth waiting for. And that lap by Antonio Fuoco, I confess to thinking he's a bit of a star. You've got 2 Le Mans winners, one from last year, one from this, on the front row, an all-Ferrari front row as well. And the margin between them, 0.274 of a second. Antonio Fuoco then tops the times in the Macau GT Cup, the FIA GT World Cup here at Macau. So the cars make their way to the pit lane in the nick of time, because in just over 25 minutes' time, the road's open.
Ferrari in the number 97 bus on the front row of the grid. That would be something to endure, wouldn't it? But absolutely superb. That's a headline, isn't it? Ferrari lock out the front row at Macau. Antonio Fuoco and Fei in the 83 and 50 Ferraris, and another story as well. Eduardo Mortara qualifies in 3rd place, and the Porsche alongside. So Lamborghini and Porsche on the 2nd row. Joel Eriksson and Raffaele Marciello on the 3rd row of the grid for what is going to be a thrilling qualification race tomorrow.
Antonio Fuoco's car back to the team, and there'll be much to celebrate, I'm sure, as Antonio Fuoco then sets the gun time 2:15.535. And the way that he could race last year and overtake means he's very much a force to be reckoned with. And a pole position anywhere is special. A pole position in Macau is very special. Antonio Fuoco tops the times here in our new Super Pole qualifying format. A very happy driver indeed, and bravo, Antonio Fuoco on top. Antonio Fuoco poses for the cameras. And we'll start tomorrow's qualification race at just after 2:30 from the front of the grid there. Yifei, who I think will be pretty pleased as well to be on the front row. It's going to be a fascinating battle between those two. And then you've got Mortara and Picariello, third and fourth on the grid. But all smiles for the Ferrari drivers. Once they finish posing for cameras, they've got to go to scrutineering to go through the driver weight checks. And the vanquished Joel Eriksson has just arrived in the pit lane as well, but it was a mighty effort from him. One of the other stars of that session, totally, Edo Mortara. But Antonio Fuoco and Yifei are at the top of the times from Eduardo Mortara third, Alessio Picariello fourth ahead of Joel Eriksson, and Raffaele Marciello sixth. It's Ian Schenguven seventh, Laurin Heinrich eighth, Luca Engel at ninth. Christopher Haase rounds out the top 10. It's a Ferrari front row lockout in the FIA GT World Cup at Macau. The back of the grid, Lawrence Fantor will start 11th ahead of Benji Goethe and Adeli Fong. Dorian Boccolacci ahead of Andy Deng, and Sheldon van der Linde rounds out the grid. But Ferrari fans rejoice. They are in the best possible place for the qualification race for tomorrow's FIA GT World Cup here at Macau.
Okay, welcome to the pole position press conference for the FIA GT World Cup. We have our top three qualifiers here. On pole position, Antonio Fuoco, second, Yifei, and third, Eduardo Mortara. Congratulations to all three of you.
歡迎大家嚟到第72屆澳門格蘭披治大賽車澳門 GT 杯國際汽聯 GT 世界盃排位賽嘅賽後記者會。首先，我哋恭喜台上面嘅3位車手，佢哋分別係第一位嘅傅奧、第二位葉一飛同埋第3位莫塔拿。
Antonio, a new format this year and a very exciting final shootout and a brilliant final lap. How was that lap? How on the edge was it?
Yeah, hello everyone. I think a bit tricky with the condition because it was getting dark, so honestly I was a bit scared, but at the end I was able to put a really good lap together. I really like this format because you need to go out and you need to extract the maximum you can from the car in only 2 laps, which you also go out with the cold tires, so you need to put everything on temperature, and I think we did a really good job today. I think it was important to be on the top here in Macau, so we still know it's a really long weekend with the 2 races, but at least I think we start on a good position for the race tomorrow.
剛才傅表示咧，其實喺呢個尤其是喺超級崗位賽裏邊咧，其實只可以刷出2個嘅快圈啦，所以佢加上個天咧都開始黑啦，所以其實佢去到後邊咧係有少少保留嘅，咁但係都好開心可以做出好嘅成績啦，攞到第1位啦。當然比賽週末仲未完成之後咧，都會發生即係各種事情都會發生，但係佢會繼續努力嘅。
Last year you led the main race very briefly before a bit of a controversial ending there. How much is it unfinished business for you this year, and how much is that focus on delivering that win?
Yeah, I think last year was really hard to accept, but I think it's part of the racing, and this year I came here with the idea to try to do our best, but we also know that Macau is really special race, you know, where everything can change in just 1 second. And I was really focused since the beginning of the weekend to do the best, especially on qualifying. And I think, as I said before, it worked really well. And then again, now we just need to focus on the race and try to bring back what we lost last year.
佢亦都補充到咧，其實上年嘅成績咧就未如理想啦，佢亦都覺得非常之可惜。今年咧佢覺得佢會全速去攞到一個最好嘅成績啦。咁但係因為澳門嘅賽道始終都係一條令人無法預測即將會發生啲乜嘢嘅地方啦。咁所以佢會依家佢嘅專注力咧就會喺比賽度努力比賽，進行最好嘅成績。
Yeah, congratulations on second place. This is your second time at this track. How happy are you with that result?
Hi everyone. Obviously last year was my debut in Macau in the wet mixed conditions. Was a tricky weekend, but still managed to finish weekend cleanly, get a very important experience. And yeah, this time out in Macau, we have had a good start straight away from FP1, and we have been carrying through that good momentum through quali, and at the end, yeah, it was a good way to finish in the front row, and looking good for the weekend.
可以请用中文重复一下吗？
各位晚上好，这是我第2次参加澳门格兰披治大赛车。去年第1次参赛，我也积累了非常宝贵的经验，然后这让我这周末开始的时候有一个非常好的开局，从 FP1 开始到排位赛制都有一个很好的这个感觉，然后排位赛最后也是跑出了很好的成绩，然后日赛将从头排发车。
Obviously, it's an all-Ferrari front row for tomorrow's race, but how aggressive are you going to be tomorrow? How much are you two going to have to work together to try to keep the 2 cars in front?
I mean, we will try to be clever and try to get out of turn 1 safely. And then, yeah, let's see how the race goes. But for sure, the race doesn't finish on lap 1 in first corner.
中文
再说一遍
对对。
What was the question again?
Okay,
that was a joke. It was a joke for me. 我们都是法拉利长队车手，所以我们将很比较怎么说也不能说安全的吧，就刚开始不会冒太多风险，然后尽量的在1号弯能够顺利通过，然后之后我们将为我们进行我们的比赛。然后因为我知道比赛不是在第1圈第1号弯决定出来的，对。
Eduardo, congratulations on 3rd place. It was quite hard to kind of judge your potential and pace up until qualifying, but it came alive in that shootout. How happy are you with that 3rd place?
Happy because the weekend had started like extremely badly, like last year. We were absolutely nowhere with no pace, and frankly, even coming into Super Bowl, I was not really. I didn't know what to expect, but I never thought that we would be able to actually to get into the top 5 or anywhere near. The lap that I've done in Super Bowl is probably the best I've ever done here in the last. I've been coming here, you know, for the last 20 years almost. The lap that I've done, there was nothing left. I was hitting barriers left, right, center. Took all the risks possible, and it paid out. In the end, still shaking actually from that lap, and we're having a fighting chance actually for the main race, for the qualification race and the main race, which is frankly totally unexpected, and it's showing also that you should never give up and keep your head down and try to do the best.
排第3位嘅莫塔拿咧表示，其實佢喺今個比賽週末咧都遇到各種唔同嘅問題啦，咁所以佢對於依家排到第3咧，其實都已經覺得好開心㗎啦。咁其實佢喺進入排位賽嘅時候咧，佢覺得自己攞到頭5名咧，其實都已經好好啦。咁而喺賽事嘅過程當中咧，佢亦都因為各種嘅原因啦，即係偏離咗呢個重心啊，係靠左靠右啊，甚至可能差啲擦到牆啊咁樣。咁但係佢都好開心可以克服到啦。咁跟住落嚟嘅選拔賽同埋正賽咧，佢覺得自己都有機會可以攞到更加好嘅成績嘅。
You obviously have that track position for tomorrow. Do you feel you've got the race pace to be able to take the fight to the 2 Ferraris?
No. Yeah, simple as that. So I would hope that they end up fighting and I can get my chance. For sure, I will try. But the pace that we have was absolutely shocking until now. So let's see what tomorrow brings.
佢亦都表示咧喺正賽中咧，佢亦都唔會為咗爭翻前面嘅位置咧而太早發動攻勢嘅。佢相信自己喺比賽嘅途中咧，只要自己表現得足夠好嘅話咧，都一定會有發動攻勢嘅時候嘅。
Okay, any questions for our top three?
開放現場提問。
No, we're all good. Congratulations to all three. If you can stay for a photograph just at the end, all three together, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for what was an epic qualifying session for the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. Bebu, Nestor Girolami, that looked like the drive of your life there. What an incredible lap. Talk us through it.
Yeah, definitely. We put everything together, we did count. I mean, Q2 track was getting hotter, so little bit of more degradation for the tire. But I knew my car was very good. I didn't want it to take so much risk on Q1, and first attempt of Q2 was okay, but I didn't want to crash the car. But then in the second attempt, I think coming from the last corner, opening the lap, I feel very good grip, and I play everything. I think I brushed the barrier a couple of times. But it's comparable to make a pole in Nordschleife. I have the same feeling, you know, to put everything together in Macau is so difficult, and in the last attempt we did it. So thank you very much to all the team, BRC, Squadra Corsa, Hyundai, because the car was always fast. It was a matter of putting everything together, and we did it. So I'm so happy for the team, and the main goal is to win the race, to finish the season on the high.
Congratulations, job done.
Okay. 歡迎大家嚟到第72屆澳門格蘭披治大賽車澳門東望人大賽酷模國際汽聯 TCR 世界巡迴賽澳門站排位賽嘅賽後記者會。首先我哋恭喜台上面嘅3位車手，佢哋分別係第1位嘅基奧拿美、第2位艾拿卓同第3位嘅比亞克嘅。剛才咧基奧拿美都有同我哋分享佢今次擦出呢個非常之好嘅圈速嘅感受啦。咁其實佢話咧喺第2排位賽裏邊咧，賽道咧因為嗰個溫度都開始上升，所以咧佢對用胎啊同埋喺駕駛嘅呢個策略上邊咧都有少少嘅改變嘅。咁佢喺出嚟嘅第一圈咧就盡量唔好發生任何嘅擦到圍牆啊等等嘅事故啦。咁喺第2圈開始咧，佢就覺得嗰個抓地力咧都非常之好。之後咧都好開心啦，可以做出好嘅成績。好多謝車隊為佢準備好呢一架咁好嘅車，希望可以喺之後嘅賽事裏邊獲得好成績，為世界巡迴賽嘅呢個尾聲咧可以攞到好嘅名次。
Yann Lachey, P2, you were out the car with a few minutes to spare, not expecting Bebu to pull out that lap, but the car looks very good. What are your thoughts, especially going into that first corner in race 1?
Actually, well done to Nestor to put the pole in Macau. It's always good. I don't know how it feels because every time I come in this press conference, I'm sitting next to the pole guy. Well done to Ted as well. Yeah, I was expecting those guys to be in front, to be honest. I didn't went for a run 2 because out of T4 I hit the wall very hard on my first attempt, and I wasn't sure if I bent something on the car. And you know, in Macau, if something break, you crash hard, and then it's not a matter of crashing hard. I don't really mind. It's more that if I crash hard, I create a red flag, and then I cancel my only lap I have in quali. Yeah. And if that's the case, then I would have been disqualified, or I mean P12. So I say, okay, this lap will be enough for top 5, and I didn't want it to risk more than this. I'm very happy to put it on P2 with 30 kilo compensation weight, and probably slight pressure on the shoulder, you know, because here in Macau everything can happen, and qualifying was a big part of our weekend. So. Yeah, thanks to the team and everyone to put that all together. I was happy with my lap, to be honest. Going out there and putting a lap time is not that easy. And those guys they really found pace from the previous races. So it's good to see them out there as well. And now for the race tomorrow, we will see. Starting on the front row is always good in Macau. We need a good getaway, even though with 30 kilo, we know the run down to Lisboa is going to be a bit too long. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm happy to be P2, and we will keep focusing on scoring points.
咁而第二位嘅艾拿卓都有分享啦，其實佢喺第一排位賽道咧，其實係有少少擦場嘅，咁佢都覺得喺澳門呢一條咁具挑戰性嘅賽道上邊咧，任何少少嘅錯失咧，都可能會導致佢失去咗繼續競賽嘅機會啦。咁所以佢都唔想喺第一排位賽中作出太多嘅唔同嘅挑戰啦。咁所以佢就覺得當時獲得嘅成績咧係已經足夠令到佢可以去到第二排位賽㗎啦。咁去到第二排位賽道咧，佢就覺得其實喺想擦出一個靚圈嘅嗰個過程咧係比較困難嘅，因為始終競爭都比較大啦。但係佢對自己嘅成績都非常之滿意啦。好多隻車隊為佢準備咗一架咁好嘅車，佢希望咧可以喺聽日嘅比賽裏邊咧以最好嘅鬥志可以做到一個好嘅起步啦，可以有一個乾淨嘅呢個起步啦，咁然後可以去到直路嘅時候咧就可以更加順利啦。
Ted, P3, as Jan alluded to there, I actually don't think you guys expected to be perhaps quite as high up as you thought. So whilst Bebu's lap is unexpected, it's perhaps not unexpected in the big game. Well, now you've seen what the quali times are like. What do you feel like the race pace is going to be like for you guys?
First, I say congratulations to Bebu. I was sitting there last year. The adrenaline you get when you do pole is completely crazy. So I know I can see it in him. He's very happy with that. I am happy to be here. Thank you, Jan, for the tow. So I saw Jan just pushing it everything, but really happy to be here. I was expecting not so good. And Jan has been really clever. So for being a champion, you have to be clever as well, not risking anything. Even, if I want to be that, I have big respect for Jan. He's done a fantastic job. If we're not up on the podium, we don't know how the races will go. So big respect for that. I think the race is going to be quite exciting, actually. Let's see what we can do. Anything can happen in Macau, right? So I look forward to it.
而排喺第三位嘅比約克咧，首先就恭喜攞到第一嘅對手啦，咁亦都好感激佢嘅隊友喺比賽當中做出嘅一啲策略上嘅安排啦，咁亦都咧佢都要稱讚佢嘅隊友咧，其實係非常之聰明啦，咁同埋喺比賽嘅佢覺得如果要攞冠軍嘅話咧，其實除咗車嘅技術之外咧，頭腦都非常之重要嘅。咁佢認為聽日嘅正賽應該會係非常之刺激啦，佢好期待可以同其他嘅對手喺場上邊鬥車。
謝謝。Do we have any questions from the audience?
依家開放現場提問。
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Shishi. Well done, boys.
Top three qualifies here. Sebastian Weldon on pole position. Second, Keen Nakamura-Berta. And third, Emanuele Olivieri. Congratulations to all three of you.
歡迎大家嚟到第72屆澳門格蘭披治大賽車澳門4級方程式大賽國際汽聯4級方程式世界盃排位賽嘅賽後記者會。首先我哋恭喜台上面嘅3位車手，佢哋分別係威爾頓、中村紀任同埋奧利維尼。
Sebastian, congratulations. Great performance. The three of you were very close. They're kind of chipping away during that middle phase of qualifying when they was running. How was that lap? How much more do you reckon there was to come beyond it?
Well, to be honest, the first part of the session was quite difficult. Quite a lot of mistakes on my end, and also just getting in the momentum. But I was able to place myself well and do the lap before obviously the chaos started to happen with all the red flags. So.
咁剛才咧排第一嘅威爾頓就表示咧，其實自己喺賽事開頭嘅時候咧都遇到一啲困難啦，咁但係好高興可以做到唔錯嘅圈速。
What's the experience been like of a street circuit like Macau? It's obviously famous, iconic, one of the best venues in the world. How's it been for you so far?
Yeah, like FP1 was quite difficult for me as, you know, I didn't do much laps on the sim, so it was relatively very new. I didn't know where I was going after turn 5, so I had to kind of, you know, learn the tracks in FP1. But FP2 went quite well. It was getting just more comfortable and confident, and then quali, yeah, was pushing hard, and yeah, felt good.
而佢亦都補充咧，其實喺自由練習1嘅時候咧，佢對於佢嚟講呢個過程都比較艱難嘅，因為佢冇得做太多嘅圈速啦，咁同埋佢都喺度適應緊條賽道嘅。咁但係去到自由練習2嘅時候咧，佢就覺得自己做得越嚟越好啦，都開始有翻啲信心，咁都好開心啦，可以將呢一個信心帶到嚟排位賽中做到好嘅成績。
Keen, congratulations on second place. You were vying for the top spot throughout that kind of critical middle session. You were top, then the second lap improved, but not quite enough. What made the difference, do you think, in the end?
I think, yeah, first of all, well done to Sebastian. He did a really good job, and yeah, it was a very tight one. But yeah, I think I did a pretty decent job overall. Didn't really have anyone ahead of me, so losing a little bit in the first sector, but then I think I pushed really hard the rest of the lap to try to make the difference. Was close, but not enough. But yeah, I'm relatively happy with the result. Starting front row, I think it puts us in a good place for tomorrow.
咁而排喺第2位嘅中村紀音咧，都有同我哋分享，其實佢首先就恭喜威爾頓啦，做到好嘅成績。咁佢就覺得自己嘅表現咧，佢覺得都幾好嘅。雖然咧就未能夠喺排位賽之後嘅圈速裏邊做到更加好嘅成績啦，但係佢對自己嘅成績都比較滿意啦。咁亦都可以喺聽日嘅正賽裏邊咧，有一個比較好嘅發車位置。
And how's your experience of Macau been? Has it been something a bit different from normal?
Yeah, I think it's an incredible circuit. You know, the first time you go out there, it's insane. You don't really understand clearly when watching on YouTube just how tight it is, and the flow of the circuit's amazing, especially up on the hill, and just the difference through the lap. You've got tight, slow corners to fast flowing areas. So yeah, I can't wait to race. I think in the F4 cars, hopefully we can have a bit more of a hack. But yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow.
而佢亦都補充到咧，佢喺東望洋跑道上邊嘅感覺咧係非常之好嘅。咁第一次上跑道嘅時候係完全唔知道自己喺度前面嘅路會係點樣啦，因為尤其是係上山嘅路段咧，佢覺得非常之刺激啦，有好多急彎啦，亦都有直路啦。佢覺得呢條賽道帶俾佢嘅感受非常之好。
Emanuele, you again set your best lap in that middle phase before the final red flags. How was that kind of lap, and how much more do you felt could have come if you'd had a clean run afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, the session was quite decent. The last 2 red flags were quite unfortunate because I think I had a bit more on the pocket. But yeah, anyway, I think here you can't be really surprised about the red flag. So still decent, like top 3. I think you can still fight for tomorrow. Yeah, it was quite close up there. I touched the wall and I was quite not a small hit, so I was quite glad it was all okay. But yeah, anyway, it was quite fun to drive here, and yeah, again, quite an okay session.
而第3嘅奧利維尼咧都表示佢覺得自己喺排位賽嘅成績咧都做得唔錯啦。咁尤其是係喺有咁多紅旗中斷嘅情況底下咧，都可以攞到第3嘅成績咧，佢都覺得滿意㗎啦。咁同埋好期待聽日嘅比賽。
The slipstream's obviously very important here, and it's obviously a critical run to Lisboa on lap 1 tomorrow. Is it full on attack tomorrow, or is it conserve your place, thinking more about the result on Sunday?
Yeah, for sure the slips I think is quite strong. I think you have like more than 1 kilometer flat. So yeah, if I can get a good start, I think I have got my chance to do some overtake. But yeah, let's see what will happen tomorrow.
咁而佢亦都補充到咧，其實喺起步啦，到然後入直路呢一段路咧，其實都比較長啦，所以聽日對於佢嚟講，起步係至關重要嘅。希望聽日可以有好嘅表現。
Okay, any questions for our top 3 qualifiers?
依家開放現場提問。
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. Michael McClure from Feeder Series here. It's a question to all 3 drivers. With the red flags, the track time is especially valuable, and your position within the pit lane plays a big role in where you go out. How did your specific positions, at least for you, you guys quite up front and for you quite far back, play a role in how you approach this session?
Yeah, I mean, my position was quite terrible, to be honest. I don't think it could have gotten any worse. You know, being like one of the last cars, you kind of have to space yourself out and, you know, just see who's in front of you. Also see who's behind you so you can just set up the lap.
For me, it's the opposite. Starting so far in front, I think it's quite easy to space yourself out, but then obviously you don't have the benefit of any slipstream on your laps. It also doesn't mean you get any traffic, but on that one push lap you need, you're always going to be lacking a bit in sector 1. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the front, you're quite lucky, but also if you're at the end, you can get a clean lap with a slipstream. It's not even too bad. But yeah, to be honest, I would prefer to be always in the top of the grid in these tracks.
Any more questions?
Yeah, just to follow up, how does this order get decided? Did you have any input in this? And when did you, I guess, find out where you were in the queue?
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be like the previous session grid, but it was not really like that, so I don't know.
I think the first order we go out, like Emanuela said, is like the order of FP2 and so on. But then after the red flag, I think it was first come, first takes, but I'm not too sure exactly. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, each red flag I had to go back to where I started, where I was positioned like for FP1, so it wasn't ideal.
Any more questions? No, we're all good. Is there one? No. Yeah. Congratulations, all three of you. Can you just pose for a photograph as well before you go? Oh. Okay, welcome to the pole position press conference for the Macau Grand Prix FIA FR World Cup. We have our top 3 qualifiers for tomorrow's qualification race. Pole position, Teo Neal. Second, Freddie Slater. And third, Evan Gilter. Congratulations to all 3 of you. A while before the times came down. How were track conditions out there, and how hard was it finding that limit?
Well, I think for sure the first part of the Quali 2 was not ideal for the track. We were not able to match the lap time from yesterday, but at the end I was not expecting that, but the track had a big improvement and I could manage to improve my lap time and as well the overall lap time, so yeah.
剛才排第一嘅內爾咧就有分享，其實自己今日喺排位賽2啦，佢嘅開頭咧其實就並未能做出可以同尋日一樣咁好嘅圈速嘅，咁但係隨住賽事進行啦，咁佢都有機會可以擦出一個唔錯嘅快圈。
We had 3 red flags during that session. How hard is it to prepare the tyres, get into the right window, find the gaps in traffic and get yourself dialed in again?
Well, yeah, it's quite tricky. We have to keep the position as well on track to be sure to complete the lap. So yeah, I was just trying to push after the pit exit, keeping my position and then trying to make a gap for the push. So yeah.
咁而佢都補充到咧，賽事受3支紅旗嘅影響而多次中斷啦。咁但係佢每一次重新出發嘅時候咧，都會好努力咁樣去保持翻自己嘅圈速同埋位置嘅。
Freddie, congratulations on second place. We saw lots of kind of purple sectors and the pace there, but I guess traffic was quite difficult out there. How did that session pan out for you?
Very tricky. I wish I could have finished more laps than I started. A lot of purple sectors, but yeah, it didn't count in the end. I think, yeah, found too many cars in sector 4, multiple laps in the row, especially when the fuel was low at the end of the run. So bit unfortunate, but we're still going off the front row. So we know we have the pace, so it's a full send into tomorrow's race and then get ourselves up the front for the main race.
係啦，二嘅史雷特咧就表示其實喺賽事期間咧，佢都希望自己可以擦出更多嘅快圈啦。但係好可惜，尤其是係喺賽事後段啦、落山之後嘅賽段咧，其實大家嘅速度都好接近啦，所以好難有一個空間可以俾佢加速嘅。但係佢對於自己嘅速度同埋穩定度都表示覺得自己做得 OK 啦，咁同埋聽日嘅比賽會努力。
And how challenging was that session? Obviously, it took a while for the lap times to kick in, benefit of fresh tyres, and the red flag interruptions, getting all the tyre prep, getting yourself dialed in as well.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a trend, to be honest, that the track at the start of the session or whatever it is doesn't seem to make the steps and lap times we expect, and then at the end it seems to come really quickly. So we're all having to adapt lap by lap, corner by corner. And also with the red flags, when to put the new tyres on, etc. How many new tyres do you run? All these little things come into play at that point, and I think the team did a mega job to manage this because it's not very easy for the teams. It's a bit easier for us. We have to just go out there and drive, but the teams have to manage when they want to put on the new tyres. So yeah, it's always tricky with the red flag interventions.
佢亦都補充到咧，其實賽事被多支紅旗中斷咧，其實佢哋變咗每一次擦圈啦，同埋考慮係咪要用新嘅輪胎啦，同埋點樣可以有一個更加好嘅策略咧，其實都非常之重要嘅。佢好多謝車隊可以幫佢完成到今日嘅比賽，同埋攞到呢個成績。
Evan, congratulations on third place. You're one of the few who made the improvements right at the very end there. How was that final lap, and how was the kind of the process through the session?
Yeah, for us it has been a tough weekend at the beginning, but we are happy to come back like this and to finish P3 and in this Q2. Like the others said, there is a big improvement compared to the beginning and the end of the session. And we needed to do this last 3 laps, so I'm happy about the performance of the team and my improvement also. And we are looking forward for tomorrow's race and the Grand Prix to improve again and to finish the job.
而排第3嘅吉爾泰爾咧，都表示其實今個比賽週末對佢嚟講咧都比較艱巨嘅，尤其是係開頭嘅時候啦。咁但係咧，佢對於自己可以喺排位賽裏邊攞到第3都非常之開心，亦都好開心咧，見到自己可以不停咁樣進步，同埋好多謝車隊啦。希望喺聽日比賽裏邊咧可以繼續努力發揮，去攞到好成績。
Obviously, the slipstream effect here is quite important, and third's not a bad place to start considering the long run to Lisboa. How much do you attack tomorrow on lap 1? How much is about kind of getting a good position for Sunday?
Yeah, the strategy will be important. Obviously, you are only overtaking in T3, so the start and the first straight will be really important. So I will manage to do the best strategy as possible and to maybe take the lead and to do the best job as possible.
而佢喺正賽裏邊出發嘅位置咧，其實亦都會影響到佢喺發車之後，尤其是佢過到第一條大直路嘅嗰個策略嘅。咁佢希望自己可以喺起步嘅時候做得好啲啦，睇下可唔可以攞到領先嘅位置。
Okay, any questions for our top 3 qualifiers?
開放現場提問。
Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, Michael McClure from Feeder Series. It's a question to all 3 of you. As Freddie mentioned earlier, you can start many laps around here, but you can't always finish them all. How does your position in the pit lane for each of you affect how you've been approaching this session and the other ones this weekend, especially as you encounter traffic and the prospect of red flags?
Teo, we'll start with you.
Well, just for me, it was just to keep the position on track, keep the gap to the car ahead. Trying to manage that as better as possible, and I think it worked well for us. Obviously, with Mari, my teammate, we were strong the whole weekend, so we can push each other well, and on track to find the gap was quite easy.
Yeah, for us, I think we're in a lot better position than we were last year, that's for sure, so it's made it a bit easier, but the only problem we have is when people are making mistakes in front, it does cost us quite a lot, especially like you saw then into Sector 4, where there's nowhere to overtake and get past, unfortunately. So we're not in a terrible position, we're not in a great position, but we're just kind of in the middle.
For us, a bit more different than the other. We are quite far in the pit lane, so it has been tough since the beginning of the weekend to find the good point and the good strategy to start and to wait a bit or to go directly with the pack. And at the end, the engineer and all the crew have done an amazing job to put us in the good position to finish a lap, and that's the good point of the qualifying for sure.
Any more questions? Nope. All good. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all three of you. And if you can stay for a photograph together, that